Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Swift Contractors Corner. Today is February 1st, 2022. And look, I pretended like I didn't look at the date on the screen, but I did. I can't help it. I even when I know the date, I'm like, what does it say up there? So yeah, that's what I did. And so yeah. So here we are. People are starting to pop in. Uh I got a man in the green room down there, and we will get to him shortly, sir. I see you. I appreciate you. We're getting to you, sir. I'm gonna put a little there, and I'm gonna come back to you. Don't worry. I promise. And then so yeah, you guys. I see. Oh my God, they're flooding in. There's like 12 million views simultaneous. Oh, it's 13. Guys, look, I'm gonna jump straight into this fuel surcharge report, and yeah, let's do some things here. So let me push buttons. I'm like all flustered. I don't even know what to do today, and let's just do this. All right. So the national average, you guys, went up 6.6 cents or 0.066. We're up to 384. And I'm like, whoop, whoop. Yeah, baby. I love it. I know everybody else on the planet hates it, but we love it, you guys. I mean, there's a reason. It's because of that massive fuel surcharge. West Coast Fat 5 went up 0.054 to 454. God, that just hurts my feelings. I don't look. Oh my God. Did any of you look at the fuel price out in Lathrop today? Wow. Look, that was not the place to buy fuel. I'm just going to throw that out there. Anywhere but there today, guys. So the fuel surcharge this week is 0.414. It's a change of 0.01. So we got that 1 cent climb. The West Coast fuel surcharge is at 11. We're creeping down. That 11 cents is going to drop to 10 here real quick because the disparity between the West Coast and the national is really starting to shrink, guys. So keep that in mind. Keep an eye on that. We'll let you know what's going on. And let me get out of this screen and let's make some other things happen. Oh, I forgot to get rid of that screen because I'm a failure. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I don't even know what to do.
Mr.
So
Producer.
look, I got Jeff here, and let's do it. The man, the myth, the legend, the Brett Stewart. Pow! I got to try this other screen because I'm really curious to see if it works. Nope, that's the wrong way. I want to put you over there because Jeff's too pretty. There we go. Look, because I got a beautiful little thing that I made. Look, and it says just for you. Look at that. BP, owner operator division. Brett Stewart.
Wow.
Everybody here is Brett.
That's
Oh my gosh, we got
official.
him.
That's fancy. Dude, take it easy on yourself today. Why are you beating yourself up so bad? I think it was awesome.
I'm drinking
He's-
Cuban coffee, man.
Yeah.
He's starstruck, Brett. We actually got someone on. We
That's
actually got a guest
amazing.
on the show, and he's just all excited.
I was
It's
just
always the
worried
hair.
he was quit smoking the cigars or something, and he's already starting to get edgy.
No.
You got them
See,
stoves?
I just don't smoke while we're doing these most of the time. That's all. I just
Like-
look when we have our little get together. I smoke, but when we're on
Yeah.
here, I don't know. I just don't. It's a weird
Keep
thing.
it
I don't
real,
even
man.
understand
People
why.
like real. Just be real.
So everybody, here's Brett Stewart. We got Jeff up here. Where the hell are you, Jeff?
I'm in the parking lot in Phoenix.
Oh,
Beautiful
that's
Phoenix,
right.
Arizona.
He's just hanging out up there in Phoenix.
Yep.
These
There's
guys
no
are
sun
like,
here, by the way, Brett. What'd you do with the sun?
You brought the clouds, Jeff. Where'd you come
oh my
from?
God.
Hey, Matt Wright wants to know where you can get Cuban coffee from. Anyone want to
Walmart,
help him? Well, I was going to
Target,
say Cuba, but okay.
Cuba. Yeah, I mean, it's great. Let's see. What do we got? We got Alan Becker checking in. Hey, we got Reggie. What's going on? Reggie here. What's up? Ken
Yeah, Matt
Kelly.
took the sun with him for sure. He was just here.
Ken Kelly's like, yeah, it is totally obscene in Lathrop. Yeah, the fuel price on the West Coast at terminals. Look, let's not even talk about that. We're gonna make Brett uncomfortable, you guys. Oh my gosh.
No, dude, I appreciate you talking about fuel. I was just on with an owner who said that she was going to have to turn her truck in because fuel prices are too high. And I was like, what do you mean? And she said, I haven't been running miles because the loads are too heavy. And I'm like, no, I mean, sure, you want to avoid maybe some heavier of the loads, but just don't sit for a week because a load weighs 30,000 pounds. I mean, you're
Brett,
at
I'd like
42
to
cents
make
a mile.
recommendation here and just
You know,
give
Brett,
this person our contact info.
Yeah.
You know, I just took a load that was 42,000 pounds, 650 miles, so that I could get the 1,200-mile load coming here that was 16,000 pounds.
Right?
You got to play the averages, man. play the averages. You take that heavy load, and 9 times out of 10, you get that light one going further.
Well, what's your MPG on a heavier load like that? 7? What could you get?
7.5.
Well, shoot, 7.5 times, what did you say? 41.5 cents is the 0.415 times 7.5. I mean, you're still making $3.12, and
Yep.
diesel's 3. I mean, so you're spending 70 cents.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
If that,
Look.
it depends on where I shop. You know, we're going to be going over later in the show here some new stuff that Charlie and I learned, because we have to get hit in the head with an iron pipe before we'll change. But
By someone like Matt Wright, that was weird.
yeah,
That's
Matt,
the
that
weird
was
part
weird.
about it.
Matt Wright kind of like just blindsided us with this new app or something that's been around for 200 years that we didn't know about, because we're
You
old.
showed that to me, yeah.
Oh my god. Jeff and I are finally like, oh my god, let's do this. It's great. Like Jeff's full in. I just started today. So I can tell you that utilizing a fuel book, I've started keeping numbers today. And today actually the cheapest fuel for me was the Ocala terminal all the way up to through Lake City. So I was like, okay, let's do it. Score. Boop. And I was like, yeah. What else we got going on? Brett, before I
What?
start scrolling through, do you have anything you want to talk about specifically? Because I'm gonna go a little crazy over here. These scrolling things on my right is just
I know, dude. I like this format. I want to tell, because we do that other. I don't even know what it's called, but it's not as cool as this.
You mean that software that shall not be named?
We do not name that software. Yeah, because I see Andra, like I get to see some peeps saying what's up, and that's cool.
Because
So,
Andre finally learned how to use
Oh,
the
that's-
the link there, and now it shows up his name. Oh, actually, because you know what? It's because he's viewing from YouTube. If he goes on Facebook, it'll just say Facebook user, and we'll laugh at him because he can't click
Yeah.
the link for whatever reason. But that's cool. I mean, hey, whatever, you know.
What's
Let's
up,
see.
Alan?
People are checking in. Good evening. Good evening. Hey, Brett.
He
Wow.
says, "Wow."
Look, Andre's like, I
Hey,
know. I
yeah.
love that guy. Oh my God. Heather and Andre. I don't know if you know those two, but those two
Yeah.
are hilarious.
Well, why does it show up as Andra Baguette, even though it's Andre?
Because that's how he spells it.
Oh,
He's got to be
my bad.
different, Brett. You better quit picking on that man.
dude.
Look, I've seen
He's-
this guy sing and he can hit some sweet ass notes. I'm no, oh my God. It is the
Yeah,
most
what's
amazing
it-
thing.
Yeah, he's my boy. Him and Heather and we've met before, and they helped
I
us a
dig
ton.
'em.
Yeah,
They're so much fun.
for sure. So my
But yeah.
apologies for pronouncing your name wrong because of the A.
He's like,
It must be
Andra.
French or something.
Hey, Andra. What's up, Andra?
It's like Joe Dirt, just put an E at the end of it.
Dirt
Pronounce it Joe Dirt.
That's right.
Come on.
That's right.
J.A.J. Nelmus. But no, sorry, squirrel. It's late, dude. I'm
Mhm.
tired. I did want to mention the 1099s were showing up inaccurately. If anyone was taking a look at that, it was doubling them. So that had been fixed. They just put in that fix. And let me read hot off the press what is going on.
That's really making me some money, huh? That's it. I made a lot
Yeah.
more than I did.
So all the previous years are now accessible again, both on and off the network. The 2021 1099s, the user will get the message while documents are being updated. So the message comes across unable to display the image at this time. Please try again later.
Okay.
But then you hit OK,
that's-
and it'll display. So
is that
I
still
love it.
only accessible through the kiosk in the terminal type deal? Because I know on the web portal, like, you know, if we're logging in from the house on Chrome or whatever, I've never been able to find any of that stuff. Can't get to any of it. So I don't know if it's
Yeah.
like a secure server thing or what.
So it says on and off the network for the older previous ones. So the 2021 should be by the end of tonight. So if you can check back in the morning and please hit me up if I'm wrong, because we got to get that fixed. It's important times right now.
Look, here's one right here
Actually-
that hasn't hit the link. Facebook user. I was going to ask about my 1099. It shows nothing even when trying to access at the terminal. There you go. Look at that.
Yeah, I got
Awesome.
that error. I got that error this morning because I did my interview with my ATBS guy last night, and he hadn't gotten it yet either. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you, man. I'll get it to you when I can.
Facebook user, if you go to that link, chat.restream.io/FB, we won't call you Facebook user anymore. Just saying.
That's right.
Just saying. Yeah. Get to call you by name.
Exactly.
So, Brett, can I put you on the spot for a second?
Here
Oh
it
yeah, I
goes.
love that. Love that.
Here we go.
So, the most common, there's two questions that we're getting on the Contractors Corner page that you're not allowed to look at. One of them I'm not going to touch right now because it's a little controversial, but the other one is, how's the load board going? And you and I talk about this quite often.
Yeah.
And it's it's only next week. It's the 11th when the next
Yeah.
update comes out, right?
So 10 days, yeah, so we could deploy some things for testing. We hit a little snag, and I hate to say that, but the biggest snag that we're having right now is with Rand McNally, just getting the accuracy of miles. That is the most important piece because, of course, we don't want to display any freight at the wrong miles, which goes onto your settlement incorrectly. So they're working with that API to connect to the load board, but that should be resolved by the end of this week, and I would have a better timeline. But it is honestly progressing way faster than it ever has. I'm still very confident in the delivery and on the timeline that we gave, which was giving us the month of February to test with I think we got about 60 testers right now running the load
99.
board. Oh, what?
Look, I sent you a list.
Dang, I gotta look at that. That's
I'm telling
awesome.
you.
Good. Well, hey, that's awesome. So hopefully those 99 are going to be excited and are in there using it because we need all the feedback. So once it deploys, we got to have everybody in there using it, trying to break it, fix it
Right.
when it breaks, and then we can add and scale. So yeah, I really am confident that into March we're going to be adding the rest of the gang. Those that can, of course, I'll add that little
Right, right,
asterisk
right, right.
there. Yeah.
So, along those lines, not to put you on the spot, but people are like, "Well, how do I get on? Who do I need to contact? How do I get on that list to join the testing stuff when you do add more people?"
Yeah. Yeah, good question. So you would reach out to either your owner operator consultant, or another thing I wanted to bring up that we have to do a better job of, and I say we as in me, making known is that you have three lifelines at Swift in the central, the east, and the west. So Jerry White, Coretta White, and Omar Higgins. Those three are your owner operator planners, your fleet consultants. They can add you to the board. And we know we've had some issues with some of the phones in the past, and those have been corrected, but they're available Monday through Friday, 7 to 5, depending on the time zone you're in. And then we can start there. Yeah,
Cool.
get to the support you need. Now, these are the same folks that are going to help you if you're stuck in a situation, stuck in a location. I'll throw Florida out there. For some reason, we've had some Florida folks just posted up for like a week, which is unnecessary. If you are in Florida and you need to load out, that's when you get a hold of Omar. Hey, I've been
Right.
waiting. I'm asking for a load to Dallas, Laredo, San Antonio, whatever. That's where we get to action and get you a load. So
And I mean, look, I've told people worst case scenario, they say I don't have anything. I would much rather relocate myself. I'm like, okay, where do I need to be? I mean, I know it hurts with utilization and all that sort of thing, but I mean, look, there's been times where there's just a complete dead zone for freight, and so there I am. I'm like, well, why would I not just move myself? I mean, okay, maybe it cost me, $100, $200 to move myself to another area, but I'm gonna make a grand because now I picked up a load running, 800 miles.
sure.
So
But still call one of us because we can say, hey, look, I'm in Tampa. I don't know. But what do you got in Atlanta if I move myself that direction? Or what do you got here? Like
right,
let's walk through those scenarios. So
Well,
um
so we have a new guy, Jerry. He's the new West Coast planner, and I talked to him the other day because it was I decided when I left Oregon I was never going back even for business because of that stupid 21-cent tax they have there per
right.
mile. By the way, guys, 21 cents a mile it costs to drive our trucks there.
Yeah, it's
So I
ridiculous.
called Jerry and said, "Hey, man, there's got to be something southeast. I do California. I don't want that 21-cent tax." And he's like, "Oh, let me see what we got." And that's one of the questions that we went over is if I go down to Ontario, California, am I going to be able to get out same day, or am I going to be
Right.
sitting there all weekend? And I ended up with a load out of Ontario going all the way to Arkansas. So
yeah.
you know, you got to.
Yeah.
I think you got to ask them the right questions though. Because
Yeah.
they're busy and they that sometimes they're not thinking the way you want them to think. So you got to ask
Right.
the question.
Yeah, asking the right questions. I'm glad Matt called himself out too, because I was thinking about him. He deadheaded
Yep.
from Dallas. I'm like,
I
dude,
know.
call me. I would have gotten you a load. I mean, we
Look,
both could make money.
I
Like,
even
what?
told him, I'm like, look, 24 hours and no more. Phew, I'm going, man. I will
What?
not sit more than Brett. I will never sit more than 24 hours unless I want to hang out somewhere. And I
Yeah.
will, and I've done it. I've moved myself from Phoenix to Dallas. That exact jump.
You got deep pockets though, so that's
No,
it's not
no,
for
no.
everybody.
But it's not
Don't.
even that. But if you think about it, I mean, seriously, think about it. So, I operate my team truck, right? And my revenue per day is more than the number I use, but I use a simple number, $1,000 a day, right? $1,000 a day. If I sit more in a day, I'm losing at least $1,000 a day. And so what's it costing to run my truck from Phoenix to Dallas and then be able to just run nonstop after that? It cost me a couple $100. Well, with today's fuel price, whatever. Actually, it cost me less because the fuel surcharge drops that price to next to nothing and run slow. And I'll drive 55 miles an hour all the way from Phoenix to Dallas. Don't care.
Yeah.
Raise that fuel mileage and go. But yeah, so the pain to the pocket isn't as bad as some people think. I mean, I'm not saying do it all the time. I'm saying
Yeah.
in those cases where they're like, look, man, it's going to be 3 days before we get anything out of Phoenix. You're just kind of
Man,
screwed. I
if
mean,
anyone ever tells you that right now, just please
right.
call me. I mean, there's so much freight. It's
I know.
ridiculous.
Well,
So,
back in the day, we didn't have these owner operator planners,
Right.
and I used to because the Northwest was just notorious for no freight, no freight, no freight, and so
yeah,
I would deadhead myself down to Sacramento, out of the house, 600 miles, just so I could pick up a load and get working.
Right.
yeah. And
But back
one thing,
then, back then too, though, all those loads were going eastbound, so I could get east of the Rockies into the Midwest where there was better opportunity. But
yeah,
now we've got these guys to help us out, so there's really not. It's pretty rare that I'll do that today. I'll just
sure.
say that.
Yeah, and you brought up a good point earlier about, especially when you hear that no freight, if you do, please challenge it because that's not the case. What they're probably saying is, I see you need a load to Houston from where your location is. I don't see a load to Houston from your location, but we need to get smarter to ask the right questions on our end to say, hey, what if I sent you from here to here, stacked you from Memphis to Houston, and I
Right.
got both plans available? Would you do that? Sure. Okay, that now we're talking. So please challenge the no freight. That is not the case.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
I'd be
I
all
mean
about that.
that's why we're brokering out freight. I mean, let's be real. I mean, you see all these trucks out there pulling Swift trailers, and they're like, "Hit, toot toot." Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, man, that's one I could have got.
At doing 90 miles an hour down the road.
Right, driving on the wrong side of the road, making people make videos and like, look at what Swift's doing. And then you look at the side of the truck, and it's like, you know,
Yeah,
Bucky's
someone.
transport service. I'm like, what the
Yeah,
whatever. Anyhow, that oh my god, that whole crazy thing. Anyhow,
Facebook
Facebook
user, I will
user.
get you out. Yeah, come on, get him,
Look at
Charlie.
that. Well, I'm stuck in Denver and I don't want to go west. I want to go east, but they said they have nothing.
Send me your truck number.
There you go. Shoot
Yeah.
a message to myself or Jeff, and if you don't want to put it on here, if you want to throw it up here, man, throw it up. Go for it. Oh, there's
Yeah,
my
Now
Russian
I'll tell
friend. I
you
don't know
too,
who that
though, that
is.
sometimes when you're talking to these owner op planners, I'll go into the Wayback Machine when Tish was kind of my go-to girl when she was doing that job. Sometimes you got to think about what they're offering you. Out of Denver is a good example because I wanted to go to Opelika because Brett, I've got a deal out there.
That
I got a
Walmart.
deal out there that at Walmart that's awesome. And I called Tish. I said I got to get back to Opelika. They need me. Actually, I needed their money, but so she got me this load from this farm out the middle of flipping nowhere. Those little bitty hay bales are like this big that they sell at Walmart as decorations because people are stupid. Right to right to the DC that I wanted to work out of. So you know, would I normally have gone 200 miles to a farm? That's not my ideal day, man.
Right?
But man, it got me exactly where I needed to be, and it's because I communicated with her.
yeah,
So I think
And
that's one of the things that people miss is when you call these people, it's not, hey, I need to work. They
yeah,
want you
right.
to have a plan, man.
Yeah, where do you want to work? Where do you need to go? Where are you? Where do you want to go? And
yep.
let's figure out how to
Help
get you there.
help them help you.
Right.
Yeah, and I think too, what we can work on is future iterations of the load board. What I would envision it to do is kind of show an owner, hey, you're going to go into Denver, which by the way, usually market capacity is X, meaning there is 100 trucks to every 5 loads.
Right.
And all of, 90% of the freight out of Denver goes to Salt Lake City or Albuquerque. So
Hmm.
so kind of like giving you a guidepost in a sense of like understanding how the markets run and where
Mm,
do you want to go from there. A lot of folks don't realize like you go into Denver, that is like the biggest backhaul market in the world
Right.
with heavy beer loads, and yeah, sure, there's some other freight, but there's just not a lot there. Similar to Albuquerque, right? It's like paper
Right.
loads, or I
Yep.
mean, in flatbed,
You have
it's
to go
crushed
out to
cars
that.
or wallboard. Yeah, there's like, I was in sales. I literally followed trucks in Albuquerque and Denver trying to find shippers for like 2 months straight, and they all went to the same 3 locations. Like, it's just, it is what it is. But
Yep.
yeah. So Kelly, will the low board have good reefer freight, and are those planners proficient in the reefer market? So first and foremost, the reefer over the road division would be the next addition after our dry van. And that's the plan. So
Cool.
I need to make sure we got the thumbs up from those leaders, but yeah. And then I would say, to answer the question about Jerry, Omar, and Coretta, they're not as familiar with reefer, but that's something we can get educated on, and even maybe hire or have someone else represent that reefer freight market.
And Andre had a
Excellent.
good point. We work together, we stay together.
For sure.
I dig it. Just
Yeah.
that's like profound. That's like
Why?
my head popped. I don't even know what to do right now. So I had something, and then a squirrel got me.
Squirrel.
It was one of yours, wasn't it? I'm just saying.
Yeah, it'll come back.
Oh, the automation. How are we looking on the back end?
Yeah, so that really is tied into this Rand McNally API, but for the automation around being a 24/7 load board,
Right.
that is flowing really well. So that's still online, and that should be in the next deployment to test. So it's going to be
Cool.
like one of those fingers crossed, like 10
Right.
p.m. book a load, and I'll have to be on
Sitting up
just
on the
just
edge
to
of the seat.
confirm. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, but no, that's a big piece. I mean, we want to launch this thing being fully automated and fully functional for all of you. So
So Matt was asking, will we be able to switch between the reefer and dry on the board? Is it when you say that the next batch being added to the board as far as the type of freight, is it all going to display, or is it only going to display reefer to the reefer type guys or dry
Yeah.
guys, or will it all show together?
it's going to be contract specific. So
Okay.
depending on the contract that you're under at that time. Now, if you do want to change, absolutely, you have the freedom to do that. Just give us a heads up, be respectful, give notification. That could be 24 hours, whatever the case is, but yeah, you'll know best on your division and who
But
you're with.
Matt, then you'd have to leave the Northeast 65% program.
Dun dun dun.
Anyhow, whatever. Get out of here, Matt. We're tired of your crap today.
Dude,
Oh my
he's
God.
yeah.
Whatever. I know. So what else you got, Brady? Is there anything else that's pressing right now? I heard you do something on your last Swift live video, and you said, "Hey, we're going to be on a Contractor's Corner here once a month now, and
Yeah.
it'll either be me or Ian DeGray." And I was like, "Did he just bail on me? Is that what just happened? Did Brett just totally bail on me?" So
What do you mean? I'm here.
I know you're here, but look, you freaked me out because you're like, it'll either be me or Ian DeGray that's going to be here. I'm like, okay.
Oh no,
I see.
yeah, whatever.
I see what he's doing here. I see.
Well, no, and I want to. It'll be shorter. Maybe I even pop back on next week because I do want to talk about the ICOA, right? So we know that
Oh,
the
yeah, it's
current
coming.
contract's
that's coming
expiring
up.
on March 2nd. Yeah, and so full transparency, I'll send you the red line changes for the new
Cool.
one. We can display them here and walk through them. What I want to let everybody know is there's nothing negative about what's going on, and we can talk through those items. So. I hope it's just not anyone thinking like, oh, this new contract's and I gotcha. What are they trying to screw me over on?
Right.
It's not that. It's we stipulated that contract expires March 2nd, and now we're going to renew it with one change, which I'll tell you to start off with is going to be it's no longer going to be a cliff event where in March 2nd of 2024, everyone all of a sudden has to go look at an ICOA and re-sign it. It's going to be
Right.
based upon your anniversary date of when you.
Oh, that's cool.
when you
That
sign.
spreads it out and makes it a little easier
makes
for
it a
people.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes it easier for everybody, honestly, because talk
Oh,
about my team, like needing lots of whiskey by the
Oh,
time
my
we're done
God.
with this thing. So
They're like, we've still got 400 that haven't even opened the file yet, and
we got
today's the deadline.
yeah, we got 10 hours left. Call.
Oh my God, please.
I know. So
Sweet.
the plan would be is February 14th, which is a Monday, is you'll have those changes in your hands to look at the full contract. But next week, if I can have 10 more minutes, I'd love to
Oh,
come back.
absolutely. You know, you got an open invitation, Brett. You let me know and I'll make it happen. I will wake this guy up here, Jeff. I'm like, come
Huh?
on, man, let's do
Yeah.
it. Me and Matt wake him up like we were apparently just blew his phone up last night. Matt and I are just having a conversation when Jeff's trying to sleep. So it's a group deal. So we didn't even think about Jeff sleeping. And we're like,
Yeah,
hell with
dude,
that
it's
guy,
us gray
whatever.
hairs. We love our
20,
sleep.
23 messages, man. 23
That's
Oh yeah,
on
awesome.
our
we
little
blew it
group
up.
chat.
Those are fun. Hey, shout out to TK. I just
There he
saw him
is, my
post. Hope you're doing
man.
well, my friend.
My
Hmm.
brother from another mother. That's the guy
Things that
right
make you go,
there.
"Oh, yeah, hope you're good, dude. Man. But no,
Matt, sorry, Jeff.
thanks for
Yeah.
having me on, guys. Was there anything else you wanted to talk
No,
about
we're
before I
good,
bounce?
man. I mean, I told you I'm not gonna hem you up for an hour. I'm glad to get every minute we can, but yeah, if you want to pop on next week, let me know. It's same time, 6 o'clock. I mean, I won't schedule you till 6:05 because I'm trying to keep that solid time there, right?
Yeah.
Because I rambled the first little bit. You know how I am. I can't help
I like
myself.
it though. That's why I like joining for that.
So
But
so
no,
so
I
yeah,
like
but
I eat dinner
absolutely
early, so I gotta,
not.
we go to
Look,
bed early, eat food
I
early.
haven't
So
eaten today. I worked
what?
today. So I normally don't work Tuesdays at all. Like I'm usually home Monday night and my account. So look, anybody wants to come work some Florida Target freight, seriously, call, right? Because I shouldn't have to work today. I'm just saying it was wrong. And they're like, look, man, we're gonna have to give loads away. And just so you know, what had happened
What
was, I love
happened
saying that.
was, yeah.
So we were gonna have to give loads away. And I'm like, look, I can't be the guy that had my customer give a load away because I turned it down. I said, look, here's my time constraints. I need to be home by 4 p.m. so I can do this thing with Brett Stewart and Jeff Morton. And I pulled in the house like right at 4 o'clock. It was amazing. It worked out perfect. I mean, I dumped a Target trailer on the Ocala yard. That happened. It's
Yeah.
sitting there right now, and I got to take it back up on Thursday. But whatever, man. I'm just saying, had to look after my customer.
Thank you for doing that. Yeah, someone had a question about flatbed too.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah.
at this point, they're not considered on the load board, and Alan kind of hit it on the head as far as very load specific, right? You go into an area and there's a lot of customer specific freight there, and the trailer. We still need to work through some of the complexities
Right.
as
Step
well.
deck, flatbed,
Yeah.
auto trailers, and all the other
All of a
nonsense that
sudden, you got a step deck in Seattle, Washington, and how do you get it back into
oh,
the
that could be
east? And
fun.
oh, for who? Yeah.
Not me.
I
Yeah.
think there was one of those sitting in the Sumner yard for like 2 years.
Right?
Oh, yeah, because they
Yeah,
couldn't
Somebody had
figure it
it
taken
out.
was
some up,
too.
somebody had taken some piece of equipment up there, and then there was nothing for that trailer. So the dude picked up a dry van and went back to El Paso or wherever he was from.
Hey, is J and J Nelms? Is if that's a current owner for us, we'll get
Yep.
him on the load board. Yeah, he's
We're
a
able to
former
request a
developer.
load from the Night and Swift Logistics Board. So right now, that's where our freight is coming from on the load board is from the
Right.
logistics board. And
Yes,
yeah, I think that covers what you want. If not, if that's not the answer to your question, then quickly throw it up there and we'll get it to Brett to look at it. Otherwise, we're gonna cut Brett loose here in a minute, you guys. The man is busy. Look at him. Look at him. That hair. Do you know how much work that hair takes?
Jeff and
It
I look
doesn't
at it.
move. No, Jeff's in the truck. He's like, oh, hell with it.
I didn't know Jeff did Chavez. He's got his Chavez in. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Right, right.
I need something. Yeah, I'll smoke a cigarette next time. Well, you
All
have
right,
your
everybody.
stogie. You have your. Oh yeah, go. Sorry.
No, no, you're good. You're good. I was just gonna say, man, you're free. You can run away. You can do whatever you want. We still got a little more stuff that we're gonna cover today on the rest of the show. And seriously, Brett, thank you. And
Yeah,
if let me know for sure for next week, and we will. We're gonna be
yeah.
here no matter what.
No,
So
sign me up. I promise to be on, and we'll talk through contracts and anything else you guys got. So
cool. That will be awesome because
thanks
I
for
love the
having me,
contract stuff.
guys.
Be safe.
All right,
Thanks so
man.
much, man.
See ya.
That's a little bit to unpack, Charlie.
I know, right? Oh, that was scary. That was way too close to my face. I'm sorry
Yeah,
for
it was.
that, you guys.
That scared me. So, for those of you guys that are new-ish to being a contractor at Swift, I think the what your ICOA is that he was talking about. That's your actual contract with Swift Transportation, and that gets re-upped every couple of years. It's every 2 years usually, and it's one of those things that you read it, you sign it, and it is what it is. If you want to work
Right.
for Swift, is separate from you guys that are still leased to like through like IEL. You've got actually got two contracts. You've got your contract where you're leasing a truck from IEL, and then you have your contract where you're leasing your equipment and your services to Swift Transportation. And the ICOA is the one that covers your working relationship with Swift.
Excuse me. Right.
So that's what that is. And I've not once. I mean, the first time it came up, I kind of freaked out because nobody told me about it. So I just want to
Right.
let you
You're like,
guys know
what happened? What, I need a new
I thought
what?
I already signed a contract,
Right.
type of thing. But no, it's normal, and the changes are usually really minor. And Charlie and I, the last couple of them, we've gone through with a fine tooth comb, and we couldn't find anything that was
Oh
like,
yeah, looking
screw
line
this.
by line, word for word,
Yeah,
punctuation marks even.
there was nothing that says, "Well, I'm out of here." Yeah. so, so yeah, that's what that is. As always,
And
read it before you sign it. You know, if you have questions, bring it to the group.
hey, Andre, that's cool, man. Yeah, after the show, hit me up and I got you, buddy. Someone Facebook user said, put your truck number up. So I sent your truck number to Brett already while Jeff was talking. So if he can get you on the board, he will. Don't expect it to happen right away. I'm just saying, we got some stuff to still get done, and yeah. But I assure you that he will throw your truck on the list for when they start adding more people and that sort of thing. Gotcha.
Right. So yeah, so I was talking to some of you guys over the last couple of days on the group, and just so you know, you know, without breaking any confidence with Brett or anything, I can tell you that everything is moving forward. It's just agonizingly slow, and I get it. I'm
Right.
right there with you. You know, Charlie and I were expecting to be testing new stuff last August, and it didn't happen.
Right.
And it's just, but things are moving forward, so we're fairly optimistic. You know, you have to realize we're working with a really big company, and so the wheels turn really slow whenever they
And
want to
and
make a change.
and look, I've been trying to keep people's expectations to what I think are not optimistic. I don't want to say pessimistic, but I've been trying to help kind of tone things
Managed
down a little.
expectations.
Thank you, manage expectations. And look, I dig Brett, and he believed that he was going to get that board going, at several different points last year, and it hurt because it didn't happen because of unforeseen issues and the automation not being done. And then they built the whole platform on a system that wouldn't support the division, which was
Yeah,
turned out to be a big problem. So they had to rebuild the thing from the ground up. So that's where we are now. But they're making much faster progress on it now with this rebuild and all that. So I dig that. Look, it comes up every day. You guys are asking, load board and percentage. Right now, I'm telling you that percentage is not gone. It's not out of the realm of possibility. It's that we have to get the load board going first before anything else is done, because this thing has been way overdue to get done. We need that before we need anything else. Honest to God, it's just what we need to get done first. Because look, people are getting upset that they don't have their load board, and I want a load board. I've been fighting for this thing for over a decade at this point. So, I mean, yeah. So understand that percentage is not gone. It's not something, I know there were some expectations that it would be here already. But we have to get this load board thing going first. So, I mean, that's just where that is. And that's just real,
yeah.
guys. So,
From what I'm seeing, Charlie, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, it looks like what they're trying to do, and we don't actually know, so this is just
right.
my observations. They're trying to make it so that there's a load board with percentage. So, given that business model, they need to get that load board done first,
Right.
because the percentage thing will fall apart if they don't have the automation on the load board done.
And not everybody's going to want to be
So,
on percentage. I know people already that said, I don't care if we're on percentage tomorrow. I don't want anything to do with it. And that's fine.
Hmm.
But so they've got to build the load board to be able to work and handle both sides of that deal. So I mean, let's
Yeah.
just cut folks a little bit of slack, guys, and we can't hold their feet to the fire because, honestly, God, it just doesn't look good. Don't get mad about it. I mean, by all means, keep asking questions because that's how they know that we're still interested in that sort of thing. But just
Yeah.
don't get
Well,
pissed off about it.
yeah. We were talking about this earlier, Charlie. You know, there's this core group of us, me, Charlie, Matt, a couple other guys that you guys all know about that are in contact with corporate and really pushing for some progress here. And we really need, as a group, more people to be like that. Call corporate, talk to your OOCs, start using the owner operator planners. You
Right.
know, the more contact that we as a group, and I, okay, so I'm anti-union, just to get that out there. So I'm not talking about any of that. Okay, I worked for a union for 5 years, didn't like it. Anyway,
Right.
so I'm not talking about any type of that stuff. It's just, if we're going to have some negotiating power, we need more people to be proactive. Because right now there's a relatively few amount of us that really contact these people.
Right.
And I get it. I was that way for up until Charlie woke me up out of my stupor, basically years ago. I was just kind of doing my thing. I didn't care. ICOA came by. Oh fuck! I just signed it. Right. I didn't even read the dang thing. I was like, I'm working for Swift. I'm a mentor. I'm doing this. I don't care.
Right.
And then life gets a lot better when you start making these relationships with these people like Brett with the owner operator planners. Jerry is a new owner operator planner, and I'm just going to put this out there, Charlie, real quick. We're going to try
Yeah.
and get him specifically on the show because he's new, and
Right. Yeah.
get that perspective of what he does for a living. Because he's the one planner. He took Tisha's job when Tisha moved on, and that is the one owner operator planner that actually works for the division. He's got
Right.
no other bosses, right? So this is the guy that all he does is plan for us, owner operators. He's not getting pulled in three different directions like Coretta and Omar are. So he'd be a good guy to get on here and ask some good questions about what he does and what he sees and what information he can give us. But build
Right.
these relationships. You know, the more of us that have these relationships with these people, the more they're going to say, "Oh crap," these
And
people.
it's definitely not that we mind going to them because look, when you guys come to us with stuff, we go directly to them and we're like, hey, Matt Wright was saying that he had this issue, and this is kind of something that we need to get squared away, and people typically jump to it. I mean, they really do. We generally know the exact person that we need to go to for most problems, and if we don't, we put it to the group of leaders, right? And they sort it out amongst themselves, but they always get to it. So and as far as Jerry goes, we definitely want to get him on because look, so he is the only owner op planner that's basically the only job. Omar and Coretta also have regular planning jobs that they do out of their terminals and planning areas and all that. So they're actually planning regular freight on regular trucks, whereas Jerry works directly under Brett Stewart. Omar and Coretta do, but they don't because they still work under their own terminal. So it sounds weird, and I know it's a kind of a probably not your problem type of thing, but that's just to understand there is a
Well,
difference between what
you need
Jerry
to be
does.
aware of like if you try to call Omar or Coretta and they don't answer, chances are it's because their boss is telling them, no, you need to be planning these company trucks right now. We need to get this
Right,
freight moving. And so it's not. You know me. I call you guys out. I call myself out. I call Charlie out all the time for not taking responsibility for stuff. But really, it's not their fault. They're getting pulled in two different directions, and that's tough.
right.
The good news is when you do get a hold of them, though, they are really helpful. so
Yeah, absolutely.
so keep trying. You know, keep trying to get a hold of those people.
And hey, if for some reason you really are having a real difficult time getting a hold of Omar, Coretta, even Jerry, reach out to us. Let us know. We can kind of push that along through Brett's office. Honest to God, and we've gotten
Mhm.
some folks called back, and they're like, "Look, I was just slammed," and Brett's like, "You need to call." and they call. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I want to touch on something back here. Someone was talking about different gifts for the OOs after a certain amount of time, and then Matt was pushing for further, and it looks like they're talking about can post for the stream numbers after the video. Yeah, sorry, I guess that was a squirrel. I apologize. And they're talking about yearly gifts. Look, guys, I'm going to tell you right now that's not something I'm honestly wanting to fight for, bring up, even deal with. We're all business owners. They want to give me a free shirt every now and then. I'll take it, whatever. It's not something I'm asking for. It's not something I'm looking for. If you're talking about like the million mile stuff, look, again, you own your business. You want a cool shirt, you know what? Set some money aside and every quarter buy yourself an awesome shirt, a new hat. I don't know, a shiny fish hook for your hat, paper clip. I don't know. And I'm not trying to be smart here or shoot you down. I get it. Sometimes we like the recognition. We all need a attaboy every now and then, but my attaboy is what goes into my bank account. I think Jeff can tell you that's about the same thing for him, you know.
Hey, man, the laptop that I'm doing the show on from right now, that was my business's gift to myself a couple of years ago.
You know, there you go.
You know, I mean, that's better than a shirt any day, man. And
right?
technically, I guess Swift bought it for me since they're the ones that paid the bill, and I tax deducted it out of my profits. So, you know, you can look at it that way. I mean, and again, I get the attaboy too. You know, it
Right.
does feel good, but how much better is it to buy yourself a $2,500 laptop and say it's a business expense and tax deducted?
Look,
Your
I got a
business just
watch
bought
for
it
a
for you.
million miles. You notice what I don't wear?
Yeah, me
I don't
too.
wear a watch. I just
Mine,
don't.
mine's it's a nice watch, but it's in my dresser at home. I don't. The
I've
only thing I actually, you know, Charlie, the only thing that I use that I got for my Million Mile Award is the jacket, and
yeah,
you know it.
and
I
that's
got it
rare for me.
oversized on purpose so that I could layer up, and I Scotch guarded the heck out of it so it's waterproof. Because it's one of those, it is a pretty nice jacket. It's one of those shop jackets you see those guys wearing. So it's a pretty good material. It just wasn't waterproof, so I made it waterproof, and now that's my shell when I do chains.
Right. So that's
Not
the
that I do
number for the
chains
owner op recruiter.
anymore.
Sorry, I'm sorry, Jeff. I apologize. But but yeah, like you said, that's really the only thing that is even in my truck right. Well, that's not true. My watch is in my truck in my cubby above my driver's seat and it's probably going to stay there forever because I don't wear a watch. Anyhow, this number on the screen right here, 888-246-5126. Matt said that's the number for the owner operator recruiters. I'm trusting him on this because I don't want to look it up myself right now. For West Coast, you're going to hit option 1. For Central, and that's Coretta, you're going to hit option 2. For Omar on the East Coast, you're going to hit option 3, guys. Definitely leave a message. Don't just hang up and call back. Leave a message. Give it a little bit, and if you need to, call back.
You mean planners, right, Charlie?
What did I say?
You said recruiters.
Oh, geez, not
There you go,
recruiters.
calling him out on his crap again. Come on.
Right? I love it. Look, I need it. Look,
Starstruck.
the owner operator planners. Yes, owner operator planners. Their number is 888-246-5126. 888-246-5126. They're only there, what is it, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. in their perspective time zones. And yeah. And then Reginald, you had a question, and I actually know the answers because I just had a discussion about this yesterday with Tisha, who is now our former West Coast planner, who is now over at the recognition and awards department. And would your company miles transfer over to O miles in regards for that million miles? Yes, they do. Any miles that you've run at Swift Transportation will go towards that 1,000,000, 2,000,000, 3, 4, 5, 9 million miles. And yeah, so it will transfer over. And when it happens, when you hit that million, it's fully automated now. I mean, when you hit it, there's an auto-generated deal. It texts you, it says, "Hey, congratulations, you hit 1,000,000. What do you want?" And apparently there's some stuff changing about the million mile program that I'm not allowed to talk about. I just heard some things, and yeah, but it's better. It's better, I promise. So that we'll just leave it at that and see how it goes. Let's see, Alan. If I have a fleet with my total fleet miles add up to that 1,000,000 miles, no, it will only credit it will only give you credit for miles you drove on your log.
Yep.
Because otherwise, I'd have well over 2 million right now.
Yeah,
Instead, I
with
have
all the
one point
students
one
that I did
million.
over the years, I'd have a lot of miles.
Right? I know. I know. Yeah. So when they pull up my driver code, it shows something like 1.8, 1.9, 2 million, something like that. And but I actually only have confirmed, or what's the word they use? I can't remember the word they use. Credited. That was the word. I have 1.1 million credited. Rosie has 427,000 in 7 years, and it made sense because we don't drive that much. And when I was on the road all the time, I spent an awful lot of time in the right seat as a mentor.
Yep.
So there you go. I mean, time wise, I should be well over 2 million, but actual driving time with me behind the wheel, yeah, turns out I'm just at 1.1. I thought I was 1.5 million at least, not gonna lie. But 1.1. I just found out this yesterday. There you go. You guys got any more questions? Throw them up there. We will get to them as we can. We're up on 45 minutes, so we definitely need to wrap this up in the next 15 at least. So what do you got?
How do you find those miles again?
So you can't. There's no way for you to actually find those miles that I'm aware of. What I did is I reached out to people in leadership and kind of, yeah, I called in a favor and got that done. I apologize. I'm not going to give it up. Can't give that one up. I'm going to ask that somehow, some way, they get that stuff displayed for us because I think we should be able to keep track of it. I think that'd be a good thing, honestly. Just,
Yeah.
just because it's cool. I've always wondered. I mean, that's why I found out about Rosie's is she was like, I wonder how many miles I've driven. I'm like, I wonder how many miles you've driven. Are you almost a million? Yep. Nope. 427,000. Too much time in the right seat. Just saying.
Yeah.
So Matt, Matt, to answer your question, I'm going to reach out to the people that are running that and see if we can't get that somehow added to the portal that'll allow us, because they have a specific program that they wrote for that purpose that breaks it down and displays that on their screens, but only select people have access to that information. I don't believe so, Alan. You asked, could you look at the portal, the previous years on the portal, and add up that number? Shows on the yearly summary, loaded and empty. I don't believe those numbers are accurate. Those are considered dispatch miles and not credited miles, and there's a big difference.
Is it
They can
plus or
actually,
minus?
yeah, and it could be a big disparity. So I'm just saying, not to be a buddy duddy. I mean, you could try, but you may be pissed off to find out you're like, oh, I've got 2 million. And they're like, no, bro, you got 627,000 miles credited. And you'd be like, what the heck? And then it starts a whole thing, and nobody wants all that drama. Look, Jeff,
Well,
see that face? He doesn't want it.
especially if you were a mentor, I mean, I
Right.
drove less than half the time when I had
Right.
students. And so what my business got paid for that was more than twice what my actual mileage would have been driving.
Yeah.
So
Look at Alan. He's sad. Dang, 0 for 2 with a sad face. That's what he just did there. Don't worry, you'll be all right, man. We still love you. Even though you got a short truck, I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not comparing it to anything short bus or anything like that. You got a short truck, that's sometimes I don't, I'm going to stop because I'm about to go somewhere inappropriate. Jeff, save me, get me out of this, Jeff, please.
I'm just going to let you
Please.
hang yourself, man.
No,
Because
you're
I
a
think it's
terrible
funny.
person.
I'm
You
not
should have
terrible.
a record. So Andre said, but they have record of everybody's driving miles, so they should have that record of his mouth. I don't know what the heck you just said there.
Miles.
You
Miles.
should sing to me, Andre. I'm just saying. I'm gonna put you on the screen one day and just let you sing. Say a word.
You got to throw that one up, Charlie. You got to
Yep.
throw that one up.
Alan, there you go. I only lick the windows at night. What's your favorite flavor of Windex? I'm just asking. Mine's purple. I'm just saying. Look, there's my baby. She said, smiley face. I love that woman right there. I don't even know what to do. She just makes me so happy. Look, I'm not going to get all set. Hey, if you guys get any more questions, please throw them up. Let's get to them, because now I'm getting to the point where I'm rambling and Jeff's going to look at me like, bro, stop it. because I'll start saying something inappropriate, and then his wife might get upset with me. I don't think his wife watches, but one day she's gonna watch, and that will be the day that I go completely over the
Yeah,
deep end, and I'm
the one
in
day
trouble.
my wife actually watches the shows. The day that Charlie gets me in trouble. I
Right?
guarantee it.
Oh yeah. Alan mixes the blue and the purple. See, I knew you were like that. I hear you two talking about fuel taxes. This because you use your own fuel card? No.
No.
Uh, we just want to know what we're paying.
Yep.
We have a few people in the group that do use their own fuel card from time to time. What's a good fuel card to get? That's something we're working on right now, Blackbeard. I just want to throw that question because that's a legit question. What is a good fuel card to get? We're working on that right now. We're trying to work out
I'll
some stuff.
I'll put a shameless plug out there. If you're a current Swift contractor, contracted to Swift, our Contractors Corner group, which is only Swift contractors, nobody else. We have a detailed discussion going on about that in that group.
Yeah, and that
So,
there's some good info coming out of that, and I'm
and
really
we
excited
got
about this.
we got some numbers that got posted the other day from some guys that are on a couple different cards. So now we have something to go on, and that's pretty exciting.
Right. So yeah.
It's
Rosie,
your week, Charlie. Last week it was my son in the background. Today it's Rosie.
did you hear? Did you
Yeah.
hear? Oh my gosh. She's so damn funny. Oh my god. She peeked in the room next to this room because I left. Look, I usually close this. I have a door here to this side, and I have a sign that says recording, go away or something like that, right? And I didn't close the door because I'm not smart today. Otherwise, it all goes back. Blackbeard, check it out. If are you a member of the group on Swift Contractors Corner on Facebook? If not, and you're a contractor at Swift, and we can verify that, we'll get you in the group. Just throw a request. Make sure you put your driver code in it. If you are a member, yeah, dude, there's a good thread in there. Seriously, we're getting a lot of good discussion going back and forth, and yeah. Oh, so okay, Alan Becker. I tried to get the fuel card from Swift that they offer from EFS, but they said only for logistics owners and give you 14 cents off the cash price. So that is actually not Swift. That is what's the name of that company, Jeff?
Iron
Iron
Truck Solutions.
Iron Truck Solutions.
So if you
And
guys have seen the Iron Maintenance, that's the same company,
right.
and they are owned by Knight Swift Holdings, whatever the heck they call themselves these
Something,
days.
yeah. They fall under the umbrella. And it's kind of a separate deal. So yeah.
So yeah, I could speak to that a little bit because I was talking to them recently. Um, I had a good conversation with Joanna Sims, who is actually on the sales team that sells that card over there.
Right.
And what's going on right now is that they are not allowed to promote that card to us if released to Swift. And the reason is because of a whole bunch of contract negotiations that, quite frankly, I didn't quite understand, nor did I think I needed to, because it's really none of our business. But
Right.
that's what's going on. Is there's some contract negotiation stuff going on in the background, and so we're not able to get that card right now. So that she assures me that will change, and the discounts we're looking at is anywhere from 10 to 14 cents, depending on a couple of
What
things. And
right.
it's we can't really get into it until we get into it because
There's
there's
deals that need to be made and all that sort of stuff that
right.
way above my pay grade. I just need to know what the final product is, and then we can talk about it. But as far as a fuel card goes, I mean, look, you have the Nastic card. You pay $300 a year. You join their little club, and they hook you up with a fuel card on their own, and they utilize the Fuelbook app. Go figure. With their own little special branding on it, and they display the prices that they're discounting at places like that. Peter
Hey, I want
Yang, I
to.
don't know. Sorry.
I do want to address that thing by Alan down there that the fuel card doesn't benefit percentage guys after you're done with this one.
Okay. I'm planning on leasing a truck from Swift. Do I need to incorporate myself like an LLC? Absolutely not, Peter.
Check out our show a couple weeks ago because we went over that in detail. Because I just restructured into an LLC, and there's financial benchmarks you really need to make before you consider that.
Right. And so Peter, yeah, I can't remember. It wasn't last week. Was it last week? It might have been last week or the week before on the live.
The
Um,
week before, I think.
so yeah, it'll say in the comments in the notes description. That's the word I was looking for in the description. What our basic deal was, and that was actually our focus for the show. So it'll be listed in the description.
Right.
Where do you say? I lost.
So
I don't know what question.
fuel card don't benefit us on percentage really. It's down there about halfway down. 651.09. 1651.09. That's what it says on my screen. So whatever that is, your stupid Florida time.
I'm going.
So anyway, I'll just read it. Fuel card don't
There we go.
benefit us on percentage really, as don't know when that load will pay us out. I'm going to go ahead and disagree with Alan on this. If you could save 40 cents a gallon on fuel, who cares when you get paid on the load? You still saved the money. So you need to structure your business so that you can pay your accounts payable every week. Now, what that means is you need to have your $5,000, whatever it is that you need to have to float that time before you get
Right.
paid. I know that Matt was looking at the NASTIC card, and his plan was they have a prepaid option, and he was going to preload the card for that
Right.
exact reason. He was going to put like I don't know. Matt's a rich guy, I guess. I don't know. So maybe $5,000 on the card,
He's
and
that
that would get him
percentage guy,
through.
whatever.
Yeah, that percentage guy, that we all love to hate.
Alan's one of them too, by the way. So
Yeah.
look,
So
Alan, you ought to be, $30,000 on a fuel card right on 14 different
yeah.
fuel cards
So
right
like
now.
and Charlie and I discussed this before because we have looked at NASTIC. It's just okay. So here's the deal on stuff because you could. I'm old. Look at the hair, right? So it's hard for us to make changes even in our business that we know is good for us.
Right.
You know, it literally took Matt banging me over the head with this fuel book thing because I've just used the truck stop apps this whole time and I've just shopped for fuel that way.
Right.
And finally Matt's like, dude, you're a moron. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna prove this guy wrong. I'm
Yep.
doing it right. And I was wrong. So
Yep.
I mean literally
We
guys,
sucked. Matt didn't.
just using the fuel book app and not having my own card. Charlie, I told you about this, and it's a good
Yeah.
thing Charlie wasn't driving when we talked because I saved $65 on 115 gallons worth of fuel
Yeah, it was
in one
ridiculous.
fill up,
Yeah.
just because I
For
shopped
real.
for the best price.
It was
So,
ridiculous.
all of a sudden, things like click, like it doesn't bother me so much when I'm saving that much in fuel from what I'm used to when I had to pay for a parking spot, right? I saved $65 that day. I spent $15 for a parking spot at a TA because I was shutting down too late at night to get a free one. But it didn't bother me. I saved $65 that day. Hey,
Right.
you start looking at things in a different way, and some of the things that you used to go, f that pilot, for those
Right.
reserved parking spots doesn't bother you as much. It's just like, okay, whatever.
Here's
You
a little
know,
peek at the fuel book. Look at that. I'm just saying.
that's actually the exact route that I took in that 309. Okay, so this is less IFTA, guys, which is what we teach you guys to do. Is we don't care about IFTA. I cannot stress that enough. I don't care about IFTA. IFTA has to be paid no matter what. So all the way over here, we've got a 309. And that's that like Tiger King truck stop or whatever over there in Louisiana.
Roadie's
That's
Tiger
under
Truck Stop.
that's under construction right now, by the way. And it took me over an hour to fuel at that doggone place,
It
but
was
I saved
hilarious.
a bunch of money.
He
So if
made
you're running
60
this
bucks an hour.
route,
That's what I said.
yeah. So you run this route, and what you're looking at is, you fuel in Phoenix because, and I can't even remember who it was that said that they fuel at Phoenix all the time, and you guys know me, I just talk out of my butt sometimes.
What?
But I'm like, you feel at the Phoenix Yard, man, terminals have not been the cheapest price in years. Well, I looked it up today, and Phoenix is actually like 20 cents cheaper than any place within 100 miles. So if you're
Right.
in Phoenix, fuel up at the yard, guys. That's the one thing
Yeah,
I'll
it was
tell you.
crazy.
But so you're gonna feel. I would fill up here in Phoenix, right? And that should, on the light load I had, it was only 15,000 pounds. I can get almost all the way to that Tiger King whatever truck stop, right? So what I'm looking at then is, okay, what's my second and third best fuel price? So I ended up stopping. What's not on here, by the way, guys, is the 1.9s don't always show up. And the
Right.
day that I ran this run, the 1.9 station east of El Paso, it was actually 5 cents cheaper than every place else within range. So I filled up in El Paso, and then I filled up at that 309. Now you notice that Mobile, Alabama isn't that far from that 309, but I didn't care, man. I got fuel for $3.09, man. I just
Yep.
used it on the next load, and that's how you do it. You know, you save money where you can.
Oh, and by the way, if you haven't used FuelBook, a couple of us like really struggled to figure out how to get the IFTA price pulled out of there. So top right corner on the app where it says sort, you hit price. That's the pump price, the full blown pump price.
Hmm.
If you go up and hit sort and put less IFTA, bam, it gives you the price that the IFTA removed. So there you go. I'm sorry, I just had to get that in there because that was a weird one for us.
Yeah,
It seemed like it's in a weird place. And fuel Facebook user,
yeah.
yes,
You have to go inside, but yes, they do take com data. That's one of the things when Charlie, why don't you go back a couple of screens and show them the sort the thing there. You know what I'm talking about.
yep,
One more. So down here in services, you can click on services, and one of the services we already have it selected for our example is com data, and you just click that, and it'll only show you places that take com data. It was a little weird, because I had to go inside and give them my com data card and my driver's license to start the field because they don't have the card readers out of the pump. But once I got over that initial shock, like I say, that's a really good fuel price, man.
right.
So
And Matt can tell you. So here's another thing about that. Um, Not every station that takes com data will actually show up under that com data tab. Matt's look braver or dumber than I am. Whatever. I'm not gonna label him, but Matt is willing to fuel at some of the smaller mom and pop stops that I'm not willing to fuel at yet. I'm afraid of them. I'm really afraid of getting really bad fuel. But he'll call them and say, "Hey, it doesn't say com data on fuel book, but do you take com data?" And they're like, "Well, yeah, yes, we do." And so he's gotten some really amazing deals that way. Just wanted to throw that out there. I'm sorry.
hmm,
Sorry, I was looking at questions there. I never run full throttle. I use my 13 speed, but what kills me is 325 gear ratio and 600 horsepower. Yeah, okay. I'm with you. I got a
yeah,
13 speed.
the gear
I got a
ratio
weird.
is the killer on that one.
I can't remember what my rear end is, but it's one of the weird numbers in like 240 something, 270. I don't know. I'd have to look it up. It's been so long since I even talked about it, but it's a pretty comfortable gear ratio for me. And since I drive between 55 and 70, it works out pretty good. And yes, I said 55. 55 is my regular speed. And I don't care what you say. I'm not unsafe. I'm not dead. I've been doing this for an awful lot of years, and here we are.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm gonna kill that screen so we can go back up on there because I like looking at your face, Jeff.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, we do have Matt for Facebook user there. We need Matt on this show. We do have him from time to time. It's kind of like me though. Charlie's got this deal where he always has Tuesdays off. Me and Matt, not so much. We're on
Right.
when we can be, uh, but he is one of our part of our little core group, and he's doing some stuff that everybody needs to know about. So especially when he's got an update, we'll definitely have him on the show.
Right.
And again, if you're part of the Facebook group, he's been doing regular updates on his percentage deal that he's been
Yep.
doing with numbers and everything.
And once we gather enough data with the way we've been purchasing fuel and things like that, and we get enough people involved in pulling numbers, uh, we both really want. In fact, all three of us really want to do a show where we talk about the results of what we've been doing over the last month or two, what would have been, what is, what could be. Sound good? I'm just saying.
Excellent.
I think that's going to be a cool show, actually, and because those of us who are in the group now are benefiting from right now real time data happening. what this next show idea is that we're talking about, creating here in the near future is going to help a lot of people at one time,
Mhm.
because we're going to be able to come to them with a final data set. Well, not even a final, it's never a final data set, but a much better data set with a lot more numbers involved with several different people doing this stuff. So,
Yeah, it's what we've been preaching the whole time. The more data you have, the better you can run your business. You make your decisions based on data, not on emotion. And
yeah,
you know, things go better when you do that. You look at the numbers. Charlie and I talk a lot about how, hey, when's the last time you looked at your profit and loss? And we're like, oh man, we don't talk about that because we're terrible at it, man. But if you guys remember when we first started doing the show, we started off with that recruiting thing
right,
with the three recruiters, and I pulled up my profit and loss statement. Charlie and I went over it, and we're like, well, crap, that's a lot of information. We should probably pay attention to that,
right,
you know, especially since we're paying for the service that produces it, right?
yeah, no
So,
doubt. Matt said he's excited to share results with his new Volvo. He's got a shiny new Volvo. That crazy guy, whatever.
best
But
thing about that truck is the refrigerator, guys. I gotta tell you, that thing's got an awesome fridge.
right,
I've always been a Volvo fan. It's just until recently I was not happy with their motors, you know. But that's changing, you know.
Blackbeard. Percentage or per mile, whichever pays more is what they should roll out. So here's the thing: is that's variable. A contract per mile rate is always going to be that, whereas the percentage rate is,
Up
it's
and
great
down.
right now. Everybody loves it right now, and everybody wants it right now. But when the market tanks and falls like it always does, look, it's just like the stock market. It will fall. It's not
Mhm.
if, it absolutely, it's when. That's the big question. I think this year, Jeff is kind of with me on that. We are both thinking sometime later this year. If that's so, here's the thing: if we don't get another weird variant of the Rona or something like that that kind of really hurts markets, I think if we progress from where we are right now, I think that late this year percentages or the rates are going to start evening out.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
and
that's about
and
right.
here's another thing to think about, because this whole percentage thing. Charlie and I have spent years um, battling trolls on Facebook about this. These guys, dude, I don't know what you guys are doing at Swift, making a buck 15 an hour. I'm pulling for $3 an hour, right?
Right,
Well, a couple years later, when the market hits below $1 a mile, you stop hearing from these guys.
right. Ghost cricket, crick, 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 crick.
And I'm really interested. How are you guys surviving? What's going on? But you can't get these guys to talk. Not when the rates are low. They'll only talk when the rates are high. And so over time, you should do better on a percentage than on a mileage. But we're talking over at least a 5-year period, I
Right,
think, because you got the market's cyclical, and Charlie and I have both been in long enough to see the cycle, and it's about every 4 or 5 years.
right,
And what we were discussing the other day is we were looking at stuff, and the rates are up more than they're down. So over time, but
right.
you have to when times are good, like right now, if you were like we've talked to Matt, I hope you're saving money, because when those rates go down, guess what?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to survive, right?
What if we hit a 6 month slump? Just
Yeah.
saying, 6 months can be brutal. So, and yeah, I'm just saying. Hey, I don't mean to cut it this short, you guys, but we are over an hour. I mean, I'm cool with it. I'll talk all dang night, but yeah. If you guys got more stuff, keep throwing it up there. I dig it. We're having a good conversation, and I'm enjoying it. And,
So
oh, Jimmy Stark, terrain.
yeah, terrain sucks. I live in Utah now. I used to live in Oregon, so the Rocky Mountains and the Cascades, I used to run them all the time. And yeah, they suck mileage out of your tank. So here's the thing: if you're trying to get the best miles per gallon per load, that's kind of you're gonna lose your mind. What you need to be doing is looking at your averages. What's your 30-day average? What's your 90-day average? And what's your lifetime average? Because there's a few things you can learn from that. Um, First of all, if when you actually pay attention to it, you'll automatically, it's almost like a no-brainer that happens for, it's like magic. Your fuel mileage is going to go up just because you're paying attention to it.
Right.
It's weird. Um, Also, if you're paying attention to your fuel mileage that closely, like a lot of us do, um, you can tell when you need maintenance on the truck.
Yep.
Fuel mileage starts going down for no apparent reason. I mean, even running the Rockies a lot. You know, if I averaged 8 miles per gallon, all of a sudden I'm doing 7.5. I want to know why, because I'm running the same loads over the same terrain, right? Um, there's got to be something wrong with the truck at that point. Usually it's like you need the overhead done, or you got a charge air cooler that's leaking, something like that.
Right.
So there's a lot of reasons for keeping track of your fuel mileage. But if you're looking at the averages instead of your load to load, that's the better way to do it.
No doubt. No doubt. Hey Jeff. So I could not explain how to use the boost gauge to drive hills.
So the basic thing is I try to keep my boost gauge below 20 when I'm in the mountains, which, by the way, guys, that's really slow.
Yeah.
That's like 15 miles an hour by the time you get to the top. So here's the theory, the science, whatever you want to call it. I'm not a scientist. My kid is. So um, the lower the boost that you use, the better your fuel economy. So most of the Freightliners, at least, like I went through and set up my dash computer to read. One of my screens is the boost gauge on my computer. So when I'm running the Rockies or the Cascades, I keep it on that boost gauge, and when I start going up a grade, I keep the boost below 20. And it it's one of those things that makes a difference over time again. Because you're not, especially if you're running heavy, you're gonna see, if you tried to look at your instant read fuel mileage, it's like at 2 miles per gallon. But if you pump it up to 25 pounds of pressure on the boost gauge, you'll see that go down to like 1.5.
Right.
So you keep that boost low as you can. I would say as low as you can stand to do it. I say below 20 because I tried to go to as low as 12, and yeah, don't I that there were oversized there was overdimensional guys passing me. Okay, I can't do that. But
Right. What's some good things to study to become an owner operator? Facebook users asking, and I'm gonna say Swift Contractors Corner here on YouTube. Reach out to us, leave comments on videos. If you have questions, by all means, leave comments in the videos, even though the video's not live. I make it a point to try and answer every single comment we get. Sometimes it might take me a couple days, but I try to answer every single comment. And there's a good chance, if I haven't already talked to you on the phone, that I may actually have you give me a call, and we'll be able to sit down and talk on the phone. Jeff talks on the phone a lot with a lot of people that are asking questions. I know if you're not an owner operator already or contractor with Swift already, you're not going to be able to get into the Swift Contractors group. However, that doesn't mean we're not going to talk to you. Yeah, you know what I mean. We're not trying to be exclusive. That group is strictly for contractors, verifiable Swift contractors. But there are other ways to get a hold of us. Look at the Swift. What is it? Swift
friends and
Family Swift
Swift
Family
drivers.
Drivers Employees Group. I'm sorry, I'll have to figure it out. It's another group that we run, and there's a lot of good information there as well. But reach out to us here on the YouTube channel. Put comments up, send messages. We get to them seriously, and we'll do what we can to help everybody out on that kind of thing, because we dig it. It's awesome. So yeah,
Yep. And you can always
appreciate.
PM us too.
Yeah, get us on Facebook. If you Facebook user, look, you know us on Facebook. So throw us a PM there. I'm really curious to know hey, Facebook user, what is your name on Facebook? If you don't mind typing that up there for me, just so I can keep an eye out. Because all I see is Facebook user. Like I said, I'm sorry. If you wouldn't mind, throw your name in the chat and just so I can make a note and keep that. Edwin Desmond, awesome. Which channel are you watching this from? Is it from the family group? Is it from the Facebook page that we run? Uh, See, look, everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, he's talking to this guy right now." Just them alone. All of a sudden, now nobody else matters anymore.
Right.
No, you do. But while we're waiting for that, did I miss anything, Jeff, that we should touch on?
Not this time. You know, we'll
Man,
be we've decided that we're going we just a fair warning, guys, we decided that we're gonna really hit this fuel purchasing thing
yeah,
until because here's the thing is that once you get it, you get it. But for some reason, and this happened to me years ago when I first learned about this, I couldn't wrap my mind around it at first. It didn't
right.
make sense to me. What do you mean that you don't worry about IFTO? What do you mean this? What do you mean that? But I tell you what, guys, once you get it, and you will save thousands of dollars a year.
Yeah, and that's like
And
legit thousands.
yeah, and you know, Charlie and I, er, at least for me, once I learned about fuel purchases, IFTA, and all that stuff, I keep trying to learn more. You know, how else can I cut that cost? Because fuel, now that I have
Right.
the tractor paid for, fuel is my number one cost. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's fuel. That fuel. If I turn the truck on at all, $300 in fuel at the minimum to take a load.
Right.
Excuse me. So the way it affects your bottom line is I don't think I'm out of bounds by saying it's life changing.
No,
You know,
absolutely.
it's a total game changer if you learn how to buy fuel properly.
I'm smoking one of my cheap ILC cigars, Matt. Sorry, Matt asked what kind of smart cigar I was smoking. Sorry, guys, I'm smoking. We've been over an hour, and I'm like, look, Jeff's dipping, and it ain't
Nick it
fair.
out. Hey
I'm
man,
just
I could.
saying. And I'm look, my
Hey
Mountain Dew
hey
is empty, my
hey
coffee is empty.
hey, I was hiding it really good till Brett ratted me out there.
I know, and he totally just, I mean, called you out right at the start. You know what I mean? I'm like, dang, man. Oh, I just
So
scrolled all of the chat. That was awesome. I don't even know how I did that, but I made the whole thing scroll to the top.
okay.
Wow. Oh
So
my
yeah, we'll be
gosh.
hitting this fuel stuff a lot over the next few months, I think.
Yeah.
And you know, it's so important that if you guys have questions and something we're saying doesn't make sense to you, let us know because it makes the difference between you know Charlie and I both survived two major recessions in this business
Yep.
without losing our trucks.
Paid
So
off a truck. Just saying. Both of them.
paid off a truck. I did not lose my house during those two recessions, and a lot of it is because of this the way we buy fuel.
I lost a pair of
We
shoes.
understand it.
That was at a rest area
You
though. Never
lost a
mind.
pair of shoes. Well,
Never mind. Never mind.
you're
That
supposed
was
to
something
tie
else.
you're supposed to tie them. I think.
Whatever, man. Whatever.
But but yeah, so that's how important it is. I mean, especially if we go on percentage, dude. If you could save one penny,
Right. It changes a lot.
that's gold. That's gold. You start penny pinching, especially on that percentage. That way, when the rates do go down, you're like, ah, whatever, dude. I made $150,000 last year. Or I can make 80,000 this year and be fine,
Right.
right? So, or whatever it is, you know.
Exactly.
I don't know. I just pulled those numbers out of my butt. We'd have to ask Matt what they really are at the end of
Right.
the
More
year.
numbers, the better in fuel and cards. Yes. What Ken said. Like seriously, and the more people we get involved with this, you guys, Ken is saying, we need the data. We're trying to compile a big chunk of data so that we can say, it's not just Jeff or Matt or Charlie doing this, but we've got 42 people in the group, or 150 people in the group all doing this, and we get this big data set, and we can say, oh my God, look, over the course of 3 months, we as a group have saved X amount of dollars, or X amount of fuel costs per gallon, per mile, what have you. And we can't
Hmm.
get that if we don't all get out there and start trying this stuff out. So we're guinea pigging it right now. I've started today. I will be tracking and using Fuelbook and going out to the places that I don't like going to because I work in kind of the same region over and over and over. I'm actually going to start trying to use some of the small mom and pops. I got a big batch of fuel filters in my truck. I'm ready for that to happen. And yeah. What did Alan say here? That was a lot. This year is about save, save, save. Spoke the other night about the market leveling back out. Yes, I will be having multiple trucks this year, but I will have governed to $70 trucks. I want to be successful. Absolutely. I think 70 is too high, but you know what? I understand that. I'm actually, yeah, I dig it. You know, you need to be able to do something every
Yeah,
now and then. Just get
and
that out of the way.
if you're gonna do a small fleet, you need to really reach out to Charlie because he did that.
Yeah, we've actually spoken about it, and yeah,
And
he gets it.
the way he was paying his drivers was spot on. I think it built in fuel mileage into their pay, and so it was. I think he did it right. It's just it is. Charlie will tell you though, it was a pain.
It was. I hated it.
That's
I
why
didn't like having
that's why he
employees.
did it. That's why he doesn't do it anymore. So
And as far as I'm not sure if this is still Edwin or not, but Facebook user, have y'all heard about Mudflap? Yes, they're growing. The last time I looked at them, they were damn near useless for me in my region. I pretty much stay in the southeast, and there was next to nothing there, and that's cool. They're growing as they add more. They may be a good viable alternative for some, and they may be a viable alternative for some right now. Just not me right now, so I can't even speak to it. But Matt was actually using Mudflap, if I remember correctly. So yeah. And Ken is tracking numbers as well, so he's going to be sharing numbers. Seriously, guys, if you're in the Swift Contractors Corner private group on Facebook, find that thread. And seriously, let's get some good numbers going, and let's start sharing some stuff. I'm going to compile my list over the next 28 days since we've only got that. Is it 28 this month?
yep.
We're not a leap year, right? No, I don't even know.
No,
I don't even
I
know.
don't think so.
Anyhow, whatever. For the month of February, I started on the first day with my first fuel up, and I'm going to track the entire month. I am tracking what it would have cost me doing what I was doing versus what it has cost me or will have cost me for this month, and I'm going to present those numbers to you guys and everybody
And
else.
what I'm going to track is the difference between Swiss fuel route and what I'm doing. Is
Right.
the numbers that I'm going to be looking at.
Those are brutal numbers there.
They will be, I'm sure of it,
Yeah,
because in my
I dig it.
15 years, in my almost 15 years as an owner operator, I figured out in the first two that following that doggone Swift fuel route was costing me a lot of money.
Yeah.
So you have to
Oh,
realize that it's just business, guys. We try to discourage people from the Swift screwing at me thing. That's why one of the reasons we have a private group, because we don't want to be negative.
right.
It's just business. And what Swift is doing is their fuel route is where they get the best fuel price.
That's
So
not
it's great for
our
them,
price. Right.
but they're not passing that through to us, so we don't care. We need
And
to
it's
do
not
what's
that
good
the
for
truck
our
stops are
business.
giving them a discount, by the way. Just that was
No.
became very clear in my mind this week. It is the fuel card themselves, Data, is where they're getting their discount. And that's cool. I mean, whatever. I mean, they've got 17,000 trucks to negotiate for, probably more than that because of night. I don't know if they're using Data or not, but now they can say, hey, look, we're even bigger now because we're combined. And then you add in Bar None and AAA Cooper and all the companies we're acquiring. I mean, that's all going to increase their bargaining power. So, look, I can only bargain for our group.
Yep.
And, there's things to discuss there later on. Not today. You guys, I'm going to kill this, though. We're at an hour and 23. I do appreciate it. And, man, I hate to cut it off, man. I don't know. This has been a good conversation. And we've still got a bunch of people in here. If you guys are cool, let me know. Where you guys at tonight, by the way? Throw it up. Where you at right now? I want to know where you're at. I'm at the house. I just got here. Didn't get here till 4:00 because, didn't want to let my customer down today. And this went against one of my big major rules. I do not work Monday night into Tuesday because of the show. I've made a commitment to you guys, to the channel, to Jeff, that I'm going to make sure this show goes on every Tuesday. Come hell or high water. Look at that. Columbus,
Moberly.
Orange County, Virginia, Jonestown. You're always up there. It's too cold up there in Canada. Dallas, Texas, Matt's, Moberly, Houston. Hey, have you been to that new Houston terminal down there? How's that look? I keep seeing posts about it, and I'm curious how that's going to work out. Have they built it, or is it just a big dirt lot still?
There were some guys talking about it on the group earlier.
Ken
I guess
Kelly at the NorCal.
right now they don't have any room for trailers or something because they're
Okay.
still working on it. I did drive by the Las Vegas one though, and that one's fully functional except they don't have the building up yet.
Oh, nice.
But it's a big yard. You know,
Facebook
if you're
user
familiar with
Birmingham.
that route, that's a big yard
Cool deal.
and easy to get in and out of too. I didn't go in there, but I know that area because I picked up at that TJ Maxx there in Vegas enough times, and it's right across the street from it on the highway side.
Bellin,
So
Tennessee.
that'll be a nice addition too for those of us that run the West.
West of Topeka, Sumner to South Carolina. Ooh, that's a good run. Oh, wait, is it Summer or Sumner? I don't know. Paul, I'm hollering at you. Facebook you said they're working on it. Cool deal. I'm excited to see how these new ones turn out and what they end up doing when I think that'll be cool.
Yeah.
And apparently they're getting the iron maintenance shops in all of the legit Swift terminals. And so, yeah, I'm excited about that too. I'm really hoping that we get one down here in Ocala so that I can start using it because that's pretty much where I'm at all the time.
Yeah, I'm
Wrong
gonna be
screen.
trying them out next time I'm home at the West Valley Terminal, and I'm gonna have them do a B service there for me and see how it goes.
Well, cool. You guys, you seriously, some of you guys are out there in some really cold places. Be careful, look after each other, take care of each other. Jeff, you got anything else you want to throw up there?
Nope, I'm good, man.
Oh, Paul's Washington, South Carolina. So he was coming out of Sumner. Man, you can have that north stuff. I'm just look. I got my
Yeah,
daughter and
but
my grandbabies are up in the northwest.
dude, he's getting that 11 cent
He
a
is
mile on
good
Transcon,
on
dude.
you.
That's
Do it.
freaking awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Well
That's the
played.
way to do it.
So Alan said he just did his PM at Iron in Columbus, 385. Were you happy with the work? Did they leave rags laying around in your fan belt? Because that's something I've had
That
happen.
is something that happens.
Oh my! I look. I got a ratchet and a good grease rag and a funnel. They were all sitting in the hole in my front bumper because I got a Freightliner and it drops down. There's a little hole in the front. I cleaned up that day, but but I did have to pull the rag out of my fan belt. So I'm just saying. So yeah, no great job, and they let you stand by your truck if you want to watch. Hey, I dig it
Sweet.
because that's me. I love to watch. I want to know what they're doing because I will be that guy that goes behind them and looks at every Zerk on my truck to make sure that they've all been greased. And if they haven't, I call them out on it because I'm paying for that service.
Yep.
They left the fuel pump in my fuel tank once to prime the system. Oh, that's nice. I like it. That's a pleasant one to have happen. All right, guys. We're gonna wrap it up. That's Jeff. I'm Charlie. This is Swift Contractors Corner. We're here every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And seriously, thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us. It really does mean a great deal to us and that you guys will spend your evenings with us on this randomness. And we kind of go off on these little tangents every now and then. And squirrels, they pop up and they get me and they send me to different places. Tune in next week. We're going to have Brett Stewart talking about that contract. I think that's going to be an important one to pop in and check out, guys. Seriously. So if you can swing it, try and get a break in during that time, and we will go over that as best we can. Again, that's Jeff. Wait, that's Jeff. I'm Charlie. Swift Contractors Corner. We'll see you guys next week. Be good.